from the example you will better understand. Basically, 5 numbers of status flags are available in this microprocessor. One by one I am writing first. One is carry flag. Secondly, one is parity flag. Third is auxiliary carry flag. Fourth is zero flag. And the last one is the sign flag. So this carry flag is notated by C. This is the parity flag is notated by P. Auxiliary carry flag is notated by C. This is the zero flag. This is the sign flag. These are notations available. So what is carry flag utilizations? Now for that purpose, I have to assume one example of operation within the microprocessor. For example, I am assume one addition operation which is completed by this 8085 microprocessor. And as it's 8-bit microprocessor, I will take two 8-bit numbers and I will go for addition. Let I am taking one random example 1100 1001 1110 1101. For example, I have taken one 8-bit number, this one, another 8-bit number, this one. I am just going to add column wise. So when this one is added to this one, 1110, 0 is written and 1 is going to the next stage as a carry. 1 plus 0, 1, carry is 0. 0. 0 plus 0 plus 1, 1, carry is 0. 0 plus 1 plus 1, how much? 1 0. 1 0 from 1 0, 0 is written, carry is written to the next stage. 1 plus 0 plus 0, 1 is written and carry is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 1, totally if I am adding, result is 1, carry is 0. This 0 is added with 1 and 1, that is 1 0. 0 is written, carry is 1. This 1 when added to this one, 1 0, which is added furthermore to this one, 1 1. So from this 1 1, I am writing 1 here with carry to the next step. But there is no numbers are there, so this carry will come into this step. So what you are observing from this addition example, one binary addition I have shown you. For example, this operation is accomplished within the microprocessor. You will see after the addition, one may observe that I have used one 8-bit data to be added with another 8-bit data, but the result is found in the 9-bit form. This most significant bit which is found furthermore is known as the carry bit. If in the result one carry is generated, at that time this carry flag will set. Because these flag registers are basically constructed by the help of the flip-flops. And the flip-flops are set and reset depending on the input conditions. So if carry is generated in the addition operation or any execution operation, carry is generated here, then this carry flag will set, otherwise it will be reset. If I am coming to verify this parity flag, parity means we have to check the even parity. After this addition operation, I have to count how many number of 1 are available. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how many 1? 6 1 are available. 6 is the even number or odd number? Even number. If it is an even number, then this parity flag will set. If it would be an odd number, any example you can verify. If it would be an odd number of 1s are available, this will be reset. So this is the fundamental. Where after operation, if we calculate the number of 1s are even, then parity flag will set, otherwise reset. You can note it down in your copy, no issue. You can note it down during my discussion. Now I am coming to the auxiliary carry flag. It's the important one. During discussion, you can acknowledge. In the very beginning part of my class, in the previous class, I have told you one byte consisting of 8 bits. So I have used one byte to add with another byte to find out this result. A byte of data is furthermore subdivided into 2 equal halves. Lower format and the upper format. This number can also be subdivided into 2 equal halves. Lower format, upper format. Each 4 bit of data can be treated as a nibble. In our computer language, we are saying it's a nibble, NIBBL. So for this byte of data, this is the lower nibble, upper nibble. For this 8 bit of data or 1 byte of data, this is the lower nibble, upper nibble. So why I am discussing with you all these things? Because I have to show you about the concept of auxiliary carry flag. So during operation, you may observe that one by one step I have shown you the carry status. Why? Because to make you understand easily. So one may acknowledge during column-wise addition, when you are coming to the MSB bit of the lower nibble of addition, you have to verify is there any carry is going to this next level of the upper nibble or not. If during one bit addition, if there is a carry is being generated from the MSB bit of the lower nibble to the LSB bit of the upper nibble, if carry is generating like this example, it will set. It will set. Otherwise, it is set. There is no extra concepts are there. Only you have to verify. Now I am using 8-bit to 8-bit addition. I can't say that this process will not go for the 16-bit addition. It will go for, because it will go in the second hop. At the first hop, it will utilize its feasibility of the accumulator, because it can work out 8-bit of data at a time. It is its capacity. It is its word length. If 16-bit of data is there to add with another 16-bit data, it can complete, but in 2 equal hops. 2 numbers of hops are required for the purpose. So for that sake, I have used one 8-bit of example for your better understanding. In this example, again I am repeating about this concept. Ki during bitwise addition, if it is found ki if a carry is generated from the MSB bit of the lower nibble to the LSB bit of the upper nibble, if a carry is being found, at that time the auxiliary carry flag will set, otherwise reset. Very easy concept. Thereafter I am switching my discussion to the zero flag. In zero flag, what you have to verify? Now you have to verify the example sum. Result sum. In this result, this result is occupied with only zeros or non-zero elements are there available. No zero elements are there because this is non-zero element, this is non-zero elements are there. If this type of results are found, means it is the mixed approach of the zeros and non-zeros. So at that time I can say that on according to this result, this zero flag will be reset. Then at which time the zero flag will set? Now when only the result is occupied by only zero, no non-zero element will be found out. At that time I can say that zero flag will set. Otherwise it is reset. Clear? Then about the sign flag. Sign flag will set and reset depending upon the signed arithmetic operations. I have also discussed that in the fundamental classes. Two types of numbers are there in the number system. One is the unsigned number, one is signed number. In a signed number, the MSA bit is known as the sign bit, and the rest bits of a number are known as the magnitude part of that number. So if that type of situations are found, and in the signed arithmetic you will verify to find out one result, and after finding the result occupied with a sign bit, if result is found in the minus or negative number, at that time the sign flag will set, otherwise reset. If the result is occupied with a sign bit with 1, means the result is a negative number, various type of approaches we have discussed, the sign magnitude form, 1's complementation form, 2's complementation form. I am not going to discuss furthermore because in the previous class we have discussed in detail. So I can say that in the result, if the result is found in the negative number or 1 is found in the sign bit, at that time the sign flag will set, otherwise reset. So in this way, one conclusion is there. These are the results, the flag registers, those are available in front of you, are set or reset depending upon the internal condition, status condition. That's why these flag registers are known as the status flags. Then you may ask me, sir, these are the 5 flag registers are there. Then you are saying this is your 8-bit, the flag register is 8-bit. So how it is possible? Because to create that flag or program status, what we are saying, we have to use 3 undefined bits. How that is to be created? I am just showing you. To create the 8-bit flag register, I can show like this. Total 8 slots I am just creating. If I am taking you the bit number, this is the 0th bit, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Started from 0, and the MSB bit is the 7th bit. So if I am going to find out this one, the carry flag will see in this term, carry with the undefined bit, parity, undefined bit, auxiliary carry, undefined bit, 0, sign. Okay, carry, parity, auxiliary carry, 0, sign. And these 3 undefined bits are known, undefined locations are known as the undefined bits. So in this way, total 5 number of flag registers are associated with 5 slots along with 3 undefined bits to create one 8-bit flag register. Here I have already mentioned. Then now I am just switching my discussion to the various type of buses available. In the fundamental portions of the microprocessor, I have told you a microprocessor can work out with having three types of buses. One is address bus, one is data bus, one is control bus. Address bus, what it used to do? Now during the fetch cycle operation, when the instructions are to fetch in form of the opcodes from the instruction memory, the address bus are used to carry the address, physical address location, where the instructions is available. And who is used to send this? Microprocessor is used to send. Microprocessor is sending the address to the address bus to the memory. And when the addresses are reached in the memory location, memory can identify from that location only the operational code or the machine code which is available, that is to find out and have to send toward the microprocessor. So address bus is useful for sending the address from the processor side to the memory for the purpose of accessing the instructions in from the outputs. Then what is the data bus? Now during the return journey, the data bus will carry the outputs from the memory, which is to be stored in the instruction register for the purpose of the decoding operations. So address bus is used to carry the address content from the memory microprocessor to memory. Data bus is used to carry the data for the purpose of the executions. And what is control bus? Control bus is useful for the carrying the control signals. Which type of operation is to be done, whether addition operation, subtraction operation, etc. or read operation, write operation in our language. I am just going to discuss all sorts of operation. Control operation is to be controlled by the microprocessor and to be sent by the microprocessor only through the control bus. So there as three type of buses are there. We can say these buses are the tri-stated buses. But the thing is that in this microprocessor 8085, total 16 lines are required to carry the address content because 16-bit addresses are there. 16 parallel lines are there to carry the 16-bit address content. And this is an 8-bit microprocessor. It can access 8-bit of data. Its called length is 8-bit. So 8 numbers of the wires or the buses are required to carry the 8-bit data. So if you will going on adding 16-bit plus 8-bit, total 24 lines are required. But that is not physically available during the design. Then how it is possible? Now by the time stamp they will work. Total 16 number of addresses are address and data lines are available, and those are accessible, those are utilized as per the time scenarios. On according to that, you will find the two types of buses are there. One is a D bus, another one is the D bus. A D bus, another one is the D bus. A D bus are total 8 numbers of buses are there. A D bus address from data bus, and D bus is the data bus where 8 number of buses are there. So D bus carries, that is from D0 to D7. Total 8 lines are there. A D bus carries from a D0 to sorry. AD8 to AD50. So the lower 8 bit of data, the lower 8 bit of the address content can be carried out through this D bus, okay, and the upper 8 bit of address content can be carried out by the AD bus. Whenever 16-bit address contents are required to send from the microprocessor to the memory, and whenever in the return journey when data to be carried out, at that time this D bus can be utilized for this purpose. Data, 8-bit data, lower 8-bit. So this address from data bus can be just I have changed a little bit. A D bus and A bus. This is the A8 to A15. This is AD0 to AD7. So AD bus and A bus are there available. So this AD bus is just carrying the lower 8-bit address content, followed with the A bus carrying the upper 8-bit address content at a time, the total 16 lines to carry the addresses of the memory, which is sent by the microprocessor at the first part of the operation, when the address contents are required to be fetched from the memory. Thereafter, when the data will be sent toward the microprocessor, it will use this AD bus. At that time, this A bus is not coming to the phone. So at that time, that address content, the lower 8-bit address content which is there in the AD bus will be relocated by the ALE signal, address latch enable signal, and after relocating the data address lower 8-bit address content, this AD bus will be coming free and the data can be carried out through that bus. So instead of having the total 16 plus 8, total 24 lines, total 8 lines, total 16 lines can be associated for the address carry operation with the data carry operation. So I have shown you that in my slide. You can see here address bus, address buffer, and address from data buffer, address buffer, and this address from data address and data buffer is there. You can see it is connected well connected to the 8-bit internal data buses. Along with this, in the upper part of the architecture, you will see one interrupt control, one serial input output control is also there available. What is interrupt? Interrupt controller is a controller. It can control the overall interrupt operation. What is interrupt? Interrupt means the undesired disturbances. For example, I am continuing my class with you people. During my class, someone is knocking my door and asking my permission to come inside or asking me to go outside for a purpose. This is not desired during my class. During my class hour, my main motto is to give you something in the discussions. So that is the undesired disturbances which is coming towards my class is the interruption or the process my interruption. And on accordingly, 5 types of interrupts are there. It is written here: INTR, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5 and TRAP. 5 types of interrupts are there. And at which time, which interrupt will be come across the microprocessor or comes contact by microprocessor, it is to be controlled by the interrupt controller. Then what is that? A serial input output control. Now it is connected to the internal 8-bit data bus along with the SID and SOD units. Means in some cases you will find the data required to enter to the microprocessor serially and the data or intermediate result are to be exit from the microprocessor serially. So that's where it is required, the serial input line, that is SID line, is just capturing the data to the microprocessor one by one bit at a time. And in the similar fashion, when the data or result are to be exit from the microprocessor to the outside world, it has to use the SOD line. SOD line means the serial output data lines. So that type of controlling operation can be operated by the serial input output controller operations. It is shown in the diagram. So if I go further the diagram, you will see whatever I have discussed, the registers, about the register I have shown. I have discussed the accumulator register, 8-bit register, BC register, D register, HL register, whatever I have discussed just now, it is there in front of you. Which flag register, 8-bit register, it is mentioned in this diagram. If we go further, you will see the general purpose register is the BC, D, HL, everything is given. I may share my slide with you people. Everything is mentioned significantly. I have used the diagram to make you understand, and that part is written here. What is the lower 8-bit part? Is the lower 8-bit total 16-bit register, for example. This part is the lower 8-bit register part. This part is the higher order 8-bit register part. And if I go furthermore, you will see how the temporal register is working. In the temporal register, how the instructions are accessed, and during execution, processor how stored the data or the intermediate result during the operation. It is being shown in front of you. If I go furthermore about the special purpose register, accumulator is useful for which purpose? It is useful for the arithmetic logic operation. It is used to load and store the data or the intermediate result or the final result for temporary operation. And instruction register is useful for the operations of the holding the instruction during the fetch cycle operation. The special purpose register, status flag, etc. is given. As I have been shown you in the diagram, just in my blackboard, how the carry flag, parity flag, everything I have shown in that my diagram. Zero flag, sign flag, everything is shown in the diagram. That part. And 3 undefined bits are also there. You can see in the slots. As I have discussed here in the carry, parity, auxiliary carry, zero sign, everything is being shown, which is there in my slide also. I have written suitably the S for the sign flag, Z for the zero flag, everything is being discussed with the suitable examples in front of you. Because if I not show you the example, you can acknowledge what is the utility of the sign flag, carry flag, parity flag, etc. If I go to my next slide, I have given the examples of addition which I have shown you just now. That example of addition is also there. In that addition, I have also shown you the carry, this one that is also that carry is also there. This carry is there. If carry will be generated in the result, the carry flag will set, otherwise reset. If the result is occupied with even number 1, parity flag will set, and so on, whatever I have discussed. If I go to the next flag, program counter, stack pointer, I have just given the brief preview regarding the program counter, what its utilizations in the stack pointers. You can see the arithmetic logic unit, addition, subtraction, and logical operation and or not operation is written in front of you. Every type of arithmetic logical operation can be accomplished by the arithmetic logic unit. You can see the instruction register in the decoding process. I have shown you in the diagram. Address buffer, data buffer. The data address and data process has been discussed in my discussion. This is the memory segmentation or the bus architecture diagram. In the bus architecture diagram, you can see how the address bus is associated with memory input device, output device, how the data bus is associated with, connected with the memory input device, output device, how the control bus is associated with the memory input device, output device. So I can say that this is the bus architecture diagram in a microprocessor architecture. Means all the buses is connected suitably, but be clear that address bus is unidirectional. You can see no further direction for the microprocessor is seen. Likewise the data bus. Data bus is bidirectional. It can be extended. In both of the directions the arrow mark is given, but in the address bus a single arrow mark is given towards from the microprocessor towards outside. So this is the bus architecture diagram of the microprocessor architecture. You can see the incrementer, decrementer address class and interrupt control. Already I have told you we are having 5 types of interrupts starting from the INTR, RST 5.5, RST 6.5, RST 7.5 and TRAP. Total 5 interrupts are there. These are the undesired disturbances for the microprocessor's operations. Then serial input output control, as I have told you, whenever there is a requirement of the serial data inputting operation, the data to be entered serially to the microprocessor for the purpose of microprocessor design. We can't do as per our own choice because microprocessor is the master, we are the slave. As per the design of the microprocessor, we have to input the data. Microprocessor will utilize the data, can execute and give you the result. This is the SID and serial input line, serial output line. And time and control circuitry, it generates the time and control signals. Now the time has come for the pin configuration. You can see whatever I have discussed, total 40 pins are there in control. Total 40 pins. These 220 pins are there in this side, rest 20 pins are there available in this side. Clear? Among them, these VCC and VSS pin available in the pin number 40 and pin number 20 are basically the power supply inputs. For every IC, as you know, in the electronics, it requires a specific numbers of power supply. It might plus 5 volt power supply or plus 12 volt. But this IC is requiring plus 5 volt power supply only. So we have to input that amount of power supply through this VCC input pin. And another ground reference is there because you know to complete the circuit, another ground reference is required, which is to be connected to the VSS, 20 pin number 20. This X1 and X2 inputs are the input pin toward the pin number 1 and 2. These are the input pin. Through these 2 pins, what we can do, now we can provide the specific amount of clock signal for the purpose of logical input signal for the purpose of the microprocessor operation. As I have been told you, this is working at a speed of 3 MHz. The 3 MHz clock signals can be generated externally with the help of the crystal oscillator. And that crystal oscillator will be available outside. That can generate because this processor can't generate the clock signals by its own. We have to generate the 3 MHz clock signal outside by the help of the crystal oscillator, and that is to be given as an input to the 2 inputs X1 and X2 for the internal operation. Because it can generate that suitable amount of clock signal for its operation. And if we proceed further, you can see that the AD0 to AD7 along with A82 A15 are there available suitably just side by side. Whatever we have discussed during the address bus and address cum data bus. In the time shared mode, they can carry the address content from the processor to the memory side, and the return journey can carry the data content. And after execution also, the AD bus can be used for the data bus. And if I go for the hold operation and the HLD operation discussion, what is hold? Now for example, microprocessor is continuing its normal sequence of operations. During its operation, any other digital circuit or any other small processor is requesting the microprocessor for its data bus, address bus, control bus for its own purpose. Then what the another device is to be do? Another side-by-side peripheral device has to give a requesting signal through this hold input signal. Key processor, Mr. Processor, can you give me your data bus, address bus, control bus for my purpose? After receiving this request from the external devices, processor will think. Processor will not give instantly. It will verify whether the data bus, address bus and control bus are becoming free or they are associated with for other operations. If it will verify that they are working with or associated with some operation, it will wait for the current machine cycle to complete. Thereafter, it will relinquish the operation of the data bus, address bus, control bus, and it creates one acknowledge signal by the HLDA pin that you may use my data bus, address bus and control bus for your purpose now. But till that time, till that acknowledge signal has come from the processor side, that requesting device can access the data bus, address bus and control bus for its operation. So it's a very peculiar operation. Is happened to be seen in microprocessor. First one request will come to the hold request signal. Thereafter processor will think as like a human being. For example, so some of our neighbor is asking asking our utensil for its purpose. For example, they will go for preparing the chicken curry in their room, which I used to give this example to my students always. For example, the neighbor will ask first he or she will request, Mr. Pandar, can you give me your utensil by which I can prepare the chicken because I am not having the utensil. As I am a human being, suddenly or instantly I can say that yes, you just take it away for your product. First I have to verify that is free or not. Thereafter, after it is free or it is used for a purpose, after verifying so, I can acknowledge that Mr. X, just I am just giving you. After that only he can use my utensil. With this type of human approach, this process is also working. So it is very much peculiar. And if I go for the discussion of the ready input signal you can see here it's an input signal. Ready input signal means it is also a peculiar example is associated with it. Ready input signal means as we people are human beings are having the as a married person wife in our home. As I am just becoming ready for a purpose to go outside for a visit. So I have to give my voice you are becoming ready or not. When she is ready, she is just giving a response now I am ready, just we can go there. Likewise, this processor is also having a wife. Then a question is there from your side, my students, who is processor wife? No, memory. Memory is the wife of the processor. Then what is this ready input signal? Then the ready input signal is coming from the memory side. Then when it comes, now it comes from the memory side, then the memory is a slow memory. Processor speed is a fast speed. It is working in the speed of 3 MHz speed. This processor, but the latest processor are working in the very fast speed. This is the primary processor. Fundamental portions are being discussed from this processor. As it is working in the 3 MHz speed, it will not wait for the slow processors, slow memories or the peripheral devices. So it will wait till the ready input signals are coming. When the ready input signals are coming, means processor will confirm that now the data will be received from the slow memories. Data will be received from the slow memories. When the ready input signal will come, processor will be acknowledged by that ready input signal. Now I can use that memory data for my purpose, or I can execute to find out the result. So that is the ready input signal is associated with the slow memory, which is connected to the memory as a peripheral devices. Because peripheral means the devices those are connected at the outside periphery of the microprocessor is known as the peripheral devices, like the input device, output device, memories, etc. Okay. Now if I will go for the discussion of the SID and SOD, already I have discussed now in the architecture part. When the serial input data required by the microprocessor, the SID line is activated, that the data will be